Network artifacts also belong to the yellow zone in the pyramid of pain. This means if you can detect and respond to the threat, the attacker would need more time to go back and change his tactics or modify the tools, which gives you more time to respond and detect the upcoming threats or remediate the existing ones. A network artifact can be a user agent string, C2 information, or URI patterns followed by the HTTP post requests. An attacker might use a user agent string that hasn't been observed in your environment before or seems out of the ordinary. The user agent is defined by RFC 2616 as the request header field that contains the information about the user agent originating the request. Network artifacts can be detected in Wireshark PCAPs, file that contains the packet data of a network, by using a network protocol analyzer such as T-Shark or Exploring IDs, intrusion detection system, logging from a source such as Snort. HTTP post requests containing suspicious strings. These are the most common user agent strings found for the Emotate Downloader Trojan. If you can detect the custom user agent strings that the attacker is using, you might be able to block them, creating more obstacles and making their attempt to compromise the network more annoying. Congratulations! We have made it to the challenging part for the adversaries. At this stage, we have leveled up our detection capabilities against the artifacts. The attacker would most likely give up trying to break into your network or go back and try to create a new tool that serves the same purpose. It will be a game over for the attackers as they would need to invest some money into building a new tool. If they are capable of doing so, find the tool that has the same potential, or even get some training to learn how to be proficient in a certain tool. Attackers would use the utilities to create malicious macro documents, maldocs, for spear phishing attempts, a backdoor that can be used to establish C2, command and control infrastructure, any custom.exe, and .dll files, payloads, or password crackers. A Trojan dropped the suspicious stealer.exe in the temp folder. Antivirus signatures, detection rules, and Yara rules can be great weapons for you to use against attackers at this stage. Malware Bazaar and Malshare are good resources to provide you with access to the samples, malicious feeds, and Yara results. These all can be very helpful when it comes to threat hunting and incident response. For detection rules, SOC Prime Threat Detection Marketplace is a great platform, where security professionals share their detection rules for different kinds of threats, including the latest CVEs that are being exploited in the wild by adversaries. Fuzzy hashing is also a strong weapon against the attacker's tools. Fuzzy hashing helps you to perform similarity analysis, match two files with minor differences based on the fuzzy hash values. One of the examples of fuzzy hashing is the usage of SSDeep. On the SSDeep official website, you can also find the complete explanation for fuzzy hashing. Example of SSDeep from VirusTotal. It is not over yet. But good news, we made it to the final stage, or the apex of the pyramid of pain. TTP stands for Tactics, Techniques and Procedures. This includes the whole MITRE ATT and CK matrix, which means all the steps taken by an adversary to achieve his goal, starting from phishing attempts to persistence and data exfiltration. If you can detect and respond to the TTPs quickly, you leave the adversaries almost no chance to fight back. For example, if you could detect a pass-the-hash attack using Windows event log monitoring and remediate it, you would be able to find the compromised host very quickly and stop the lateral movement inside your network. At this point, the attacker would have two options: go back, do more research and training, reconfigure their custom tools, give up and find another target. Option 2 definitely sounds less time and resource consuming. Chimera is a China-based hacking group that has been active since 2018. What is the name of the commercial, remote access tool they use for C2 beacons and data exfiltration? Deploy the static site attached to this task and place the prompts into the correct tiers in the pyramid of pain. Once you are sure, submit your answer on the static site to retrieve a flag.
Hello everyone, welcome to Cyber War. I am Victor. Oh wait, what's this? Okay, yeah, so no. But yeah, that's it for.
Welcome back to another video by Relative Security about cyber threat intelligence. In the last two videos that we have under the playlist of cyber threat intelligence, telling you about something. It is either telling you about. So let's talk about the indicator of compromise. It's happened. Was there any tool? Was there any extra traffic? What caused this? So it is to talk about the pyramid of pain. Pyramid of pain is a conceptual model for the effective use of cyber threat intelligence in threat detection operations, with a particular emphasis on increasing the adversary's costs of operations. What does it mean for the cost of operations? For example, in the last slide, we talked about what were the indicators of compromise. It could be a hash value, IP address, domain name, tools, or TTPs. So now these are the indicators that would be found if there was an adversary or an attacker in your environment. How easy it is for you to detect an adversary using a hash value or a tool or a behavior that you have observed in your environment, and how easily can you stop a certain behavior or an attacker from your environment. So this simple diagram shows the relationship between the type of indicators that you might use to detect an adversary's activities and how much pain it will cause them when you are able to deny those indicators to them. For example, if there is a hash value, the hash value can be changed easily by the attacker. Even if you block it, the cost of changing the hash value is not going to be much, so the attacker can change that easily. But the behavior is going to be the toughest, which we will talk about in a while. Let's talk about the indicators. Let's talk about what is a hash. So hash is simply a SHA-1 or MD5 or similar hashes. The next is the IP and the domains. If you see in the pyramid of pain that we talked in the last slide, it comes the second. So it is easy to change the IP address even, but from the threat intelligence point of view, we have to see why would attackers use their own IP address in the first place. They must be using a VPN or a Tor address that keeps on changing so that they are not easily detectable. CTI, from the CTI perspective, the IP address is actually giving you information because it's the most fundamental indicator. It is telling you that where exactly or whereabouts of that particular attacker. Is it a source IP address or is it a destination IP address? Based on that contextual information, you can build up your own thought around the attack. Similar to IP address, there are domains. The domains are easy to get registered in 1 or 2 hours. You are up and running. How old is the domain? Is the domain itself compromised? For example, maybe the domain owner doesn't know that their domain has been compromised. So these are the things that you have to look when you are looking at the threat intelligence. Then you have host and network-based artifacts. For example, if an attacker is on your machine or in the network, the traces of adversaries must be there. It could be a malicious file, it could be a configuration, it could be a registry object, user agent string, or any protocol errors that you can find out. The second last in it is the tools. So these are the instruments that an attacker is using to compromise your environment. If we can detect these and block them, we have given the attacker a tough time. Now they will have to go back to their lab and research around it, or they will have to use another tool, which we do not know. The more you're involved in detecting the attacks, the more you will get to know about different tools that are being used for different purposes. And these can be detected by AV signature files. And these can be, for example, have you seen this kind of tool before? Or is there any public exploit that is that is using such tools? And the last one is the tactics, techniques, and the procedures. Why this one is the most toughest one? Because this relates to the behavior of the attacker in an environment. It has nothing to do with what kind of IOCs, what kind of IP address or domain. Basically, the behavior is very close to what is the intent of an attacker. Behaviors, as we all know, are the result of our habits, which comes from what we repeatedly do. So when the attacker is training themselves, they are basically developing those tactics and techniques and procedures that become part of their habits or behaviors, and that they use those similar behaviors in most of their attacks. So if you can identify those behaviors or patterns, you have basically given the attacker a toughest time of their life, that they will have to change the whole behavior, all their habits, in terms of how they design their attack in your environment or in any other environment, that they will have to do. And this is this is the thing that is most toughest thing to do. Starting from the hash value, IP address, domain names, the TTPs are the toughest one that to change. Hash value can be changed, IP address can be changed, domain names even can be changed, relatively easy. But the more you move up towards the pyramid, towards the top of the pyramid of pain, the more tougher it gets for the attackers and for us as well to detect and respond to such techniques or such indicators. I hope this was useful. Thank you so much for viewing. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, and see you around in the next video. Thank you so much.
Now you have learned the concept of the pyramid of pain. Maybe it is time to apply this in practice. Please, navigate to the static site to perform the exercise. You can pick any apt, advanced persistent threat groups, as another exercise. A good place to look at would be FireEye Advanced Persistent Threat Groups. When you have determined the apt group you want to research, find their indicators and ask yourself, what can I do, or what detection rules and approach can I create to detect the adversary's activity, and where does this activity or detection fall on the pyramid of pain? As David Blanco states, the amount of pain you cause an adversary depends on the types of indicators you are able to make use of.